Hello. I hope you're all having a good day today. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Cetus versus, I don't know the other team's name. And we're starting off on the first map, I assume, Lijiang Tower. Classically the first map in many scrims because it's the default map for the Taish workshop code. But I see we got off to a little bit of a late start, but I mean, you're going up against the Atlanta Reign All-Star Kai. I really hope that's Atlanta Reign. Pretty sure Kai is playing on Atlanta Reign. Really don't want to be wrong about that one. Otherwise, I'm sure Obscure and Dumpster will tell me how wrong I am. But that's okay. Little bit behind, but no worries, not a big deal. I've also got this little text box that's going to be on the screen. It's actually Streamlabs is like reading from a file. So hopefully that looks okay. Maybe I'll move it down a little bit more so it's not blocking anything. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So hopefully that's all good. If I had a bunch of new lines, will it carry over? Okay, good. Nice. Let me just expand the box, because you can't stretch out the box without increasing the text size. Okay, try it like that, maybe? I don't know. First time for everything. So, but what are we looking at here? So, we're starting off, Control Center, Lijiang Tower. You know, Adam actually DM'd me a schematic for a composition that he wants to play on Lijiang Tower. So I'm going to be looking at that later. Maybe not at the beginning, but maybe near the end of the video, or if there's another time that seems better. Hold on. Trying to switch it over to game capture. Okay. Let's begin. So we are running Ryan Zarya, Classic Brawl, Simbap, Lucio, and Junkrat. So pretty standard. We're going a Brawl comp, which means we want to play point. So keep that in mind. And then we're also playing the Junkrat, which gives us a lot of spam, which is pretty good. If we're able to control point, they have to walk towards us while they're taking a lot of spam from the Junkrat. Now on the other side is literally the exact same composition with the Junkrat. So we can look at what did they do, what did we do, and I don't know the outcome of this match. If I had to guess, we lost because Adam sent a schematic of how he wants the map to go out. So let's see why. We're not off to a perfect start by any means. Teleporter came out a little bit slower, but that's okay. It happens. Okay. So, how are you so far behind, Zeke? Ryan being enthroned is pretty important here. Oh, come on. Gotta take those TPs. I don't need to make a note about that one. Just gotta take the TPs. So we're a little bit farther behind. They're already set up on this high ground. And do we know they have Junkrat? I would assume so. I'm sure the Junkrat is spamming at us. With that in mind, we can't push into their team anymore. They have sim turrets all across the high ground here. Our Ryan isn't even there. And pushing into junk through this small choke is not a favorable thing to do. So instead, we move to speed and continue our rotation to the point. Now, this is not favorable by any means. We would have liked to have white room. It's a great, like, high ground. Like, you're not being pressed against a wall if the team moves on to point, like we are now. We can't go into white room now, so we're playing point, and our back is to a wall. Not great, but doesn't mean we're going to lose either. Ooh. Oh. Oh. You know, this is fine. We're thinking on the spot, right? This is a interesting rotation. And I like the thought there. It's really good. So, but we just talked about the disadvantage of going into this white room. Why we can't do it right now. Like, what was the reason that you guys decided that you couldn't go into white room? Because you did come to that conclusion. So that's good. You knew that we can't push into white room anymore. Reason number 1, sim turrets. Not having a good way to disrupt them. But sim turrets just add to the existing problem of pushing into the Junkrat spam. We have no way of shutting down that Junkrat, and the Junkrat's playing far away, so it's not like we can push into them. Their supports are already set up. It's not, obviously, and you guys recognize this, it's not a favorable. If they were going Reaper instead of the Junkrat, then that's a situation where maybe you could still push into them because they're not applying that much spam at you guys. But because they are, and because we are forcing ourselves to rotate into this tight choke, Junkrat becomes a big threat. Now, when you're making this rotation, if they should realize you're making this rotation. Like any team should. Doesn't look like they have yet, but it's not like we're trying to hide it by any means. You really can't. We're still going into the Junkrat choke. Now, there's no sim turrets here. That's nice. There won't be... Oh, hello? I'm going to stream. What do people join the voice channel? So, we won't have to deal with the sim turrets here. That's great. But we're still fighting into a really tight choke, which their Ryan is perfectly fine with, right? Both Ryans like swinging around corners here. The supports get to be in a great position, but so do ours. That's the nice thing about Darkroom. Like, neither team is at an advantage or disadvantage in that regard. The problem is we are the ones trying to go through this choke. And they still have their Junkrat. So, I think this rotation is better. Especially because now you're giving your Ryan also time to recharge his shield. I don't think it took that much damage, but that's still good. So that this rotation is better than pushing in just through White Room stairs. But a rotation onto point would have been more favorable. So why? Well, the main concern before was the Junkrat spam. When you're making this rotation to the back of point, you don't have to push into them anymore because we're a brawl comp. We want to play point, so we can get to point pretty quickly. Now they are also a brawl comp. Why aren't they playing point? Well, they essentially are. If they're playing White Room on Lijiang Control Center, it does not take them a lot of resources to rotate to the point, and they get to maintain this favorable backup position if we start to push them out. So when you move to point, yes, our Junkrat will still be able to find value, maybe even more value, not by much, but a little bit more value when they're spraying into White Room compared to their Junkrat where we're playing on the back of point. Suddenly his sight lines are not nearly as good as they were before. Okay, but let's continue. I'm going to write that down in the notes. That number 1. Let's see. When slower to rotate. Why is it called rotate? It's not like we're rotating. We're just moving. So weird. When slower to rotate into white room. Move to point with the Junkrat comp. Especially against Junkrat comps. Okay, let's see if that updated. Oh, it's a little messed up. You know, I'm gonna have to decrease the text size. Oh, is that too small? Let's see. When moving, or let's put it right here. Over here. Whoop. A little bit more. Gotta make sure the text is large enough for our old people on the team. Okay, we'll try like that. I think that's fine. But let's see how we do. I do think that this rotation is better than trying to force it there, so that's good. Oh, we don't go through that choke. We're going straight up. Well, I did not expect that. And I'm sure neither are they. So how does this change things? This is a long rotation, but they have no real way of punishing us. And we're about to get to the point before it even unlocks. So I'm glad we made that decision very quickly. So I'm assuming Zeke called that out, but if someone did, it's a really good call out, really good pathing. I think you can also do this. I do think that this is actually very similar because we end up in the same place compared to where we were before. So we're up here. We're not leaving anyone at the top. Right. We need our Junkrat with us to prevent them from just walking into us. Junkrat adds that pressure and won't find a lot of value up here. So everyone is dropping and we're playing point. Probably the backup point because they have high ground. So this is perfectly fine because it's the same. We're ending up in the same place compared to going from here and rotating back around to the backup point. So yeah, this is great.
The objective is now active.
Okay. So this is where things get tricky. So I said it was the same rotation. It can be. But the enemy team proved me wrong here. So it's not the same rotation because they changed from white room to some people on the back of the point and then some people still in white room. So it's very strange here. In theory, this is actually great for you guys because you can just turn around and start swinging, shoot this BAP, blow him up, and now you have white room. If you need to collect your resources, probably not. Should be too hard to explode that BAP. Then you can collect your resources, get your health back, get your shields back, and then speed in again. Probably Zarya would be the next target if she doesn't change where she is, but you've got options, and you're up a person. So that's really all you can ask for in the mirror to be up a person. So let's see what we do. Do we identify where the BAP is? So already, we're very split, but that's from the Junkrat. Let's see, where are we looking? So we've got Wally looking at the sim. Understandable. Got the sim real low. That's nice. We've got Alex, Dumpster, Adam, and Zeke looking at the Rhine. And we've got Obscura looking at the Zarya who stepped into a trap. It looks like her personal bubble is either going up right now or going away. I don't really know. So I think we're still in a pretty strong position. In an ideal world, maybe Obscura is looking at the Sim, helping Wally secure that kill, and everyone else is focusing the Rhine. At this point, we don't need everyone focusing the Sim. But if Obscura was also just focusing the Rhine, because I'm sure that's probably who's being called right now, then that also works. So now we're very split, and I don't think it's from the Junkrat. Let's see what pathing we take.
The objective is now active.
We do not find any kills. Really did look like we were in a strong position there. Just note that right now, everyone over here is in a good place, obviously. These two people, Alex and Adam, are not. How did you end up in that position? Were you forced there? Or did we not rotate correctly? So right now, Zeke was split off, but we still have Dumpster, Adam, and Alex all in the same position. We want to be stacking with our Rhine. We were forced away. That's fine. We just got to get back to our Rhine. So, okay. So Alex... Okay, Alex is booped. You're forced into that position. It happens. Not really much. You got booped so far, actually. That's very unfortunate. But then Adam, you kind of left your Rhine in the dust here. If you go to speed, Alex and Obscura right now to get to the Rhine, I think that makes sense. But we're just on heels, which is unfortunate. So, what went wrong there? Pretty sure it was target focus. Looked like, at least at first, our target focus was just waning. We almost had it together. We were all looking at that Rhine. And then it started to fall apart because of the Junkrat. I do think that that is a symptom of we jumped off this high ground. Not inherently bad, but then their team did something that we did not expect. They made a really bad decision and left their Bap Zarya on the high ground and the rest of their team in the back of the point. In theory, this is really good for us. The problem was that, well, we didn't identify it, like we didn't check our backs. We didn't look to see that this Bap was super out of position along with the Zarya and punish that. And then because we didn't punish that and we went into them, the Junk threw a tire at us, made us all, not a tire, I said tire, threw a mine at us. We got all discombobulated, all split into different positions like we see right now, and we were never able to regroup after that. I want to look at it one more time, slowly, and just see where people are looking.
The objective is now active.
Okay. Yeah. So that is, and honestly, where is their Junk? Over here? That's so weird. Like, you guys really could be punishing this. They're playing really not well, but we're opting to choose a difficult target. We're trying to get their Reinhardt when they're very good options off of the point right now. When you're making this rotation, in theory, I'm just going to reiterate this one more time. This is fine. Like, you're ending up in the same position that you would if you had rotated down the stairs and moved across. But you are opening yourself up to what's not on paper there is now you're opening yourself up to more spam from the Junkrat, for example. But I do think this still could have been fine. We just went on to the Rhine Lucio Sim instead of the Junk or the Zarya or the Baptiste, who are all really good options. So enough of that. We'll move on. I'm just going to add that as a note. All right. Okay, so we go Mei now. What does the Mei change? Well, you can't answer that because you're not here. But the Mei gives us another win condition, right? If we split them off with the wall, in theory, we're able to punish it. Now, we're going to have to be very quick. We're going to have to be very grouped together. Because if we're not, and we can't execute these kills fast enough, then Junk and Sim can break these walls very quickly, and now they're on high charge. So we want to make sure that we do find these eliminations. I also think if... Well, yeah. Dumpster, you could go Diva, but I actually don't think Diva is necessary here, and I think both would be fine. So, yeah, Zarya is still perfectly fine here. Not sure what that was, Wally. We're swapping. We are. Okay. We're off the Junk. I like this. So, Dumpster. Little weird self-usage there. That's, I assume, is a misclick. They're giving us all the space for free. That's pretty nice of them. They have Tire. Gotta be aware of that. But we have Immortality Field much faster than their BAP. So hats off to Obscura there. Farming these matrices. Okay. What rotation do we take after they give us all this space? Not taking. Okay, that's dumb. What? I just want to see that. What? What? Okay. Cool. You know what they need to add to the game? They need to make the teleporter sound much louder. I do think that's a big problem. That Overwatch doesn't make the teleporter sound that loud. It can be difficult to notice. But we got split here. Why is that? Some people aren't making the rotation. So Obscura kind of walked backwards a little bit instead of forward. Need you guys together. That's pretty big. So it's a little unfortunate. But we mitigated the tire because they mechanically failed there. We don't realize that there's a teleporter behind us. Yeah. Which, I mean, look, it's in the notes right now. Number 2, check your backs. It's pretty important. You wouldn't notice that there's a tire there. And if the Junkrat was Wally, then we would be dead. Luckily, they're not Wally, so. I mean, this is an easy kill. They're feeding. Okay, great. So now we're playing for wall still. This is a little bit of a small thing, but we saw how weak Zeke's shield was there. Probably a better rotation would have been just taking White Room first and then moving to point. Because we don't want them to have the ability. If we push in here and they rotate into White Room, that's not good for us, especially when they're playing this Junkrat. So if we rotate over to here, now we're kind of pushing them back into their spawn, further away from the point, or pushing them to the back of the point, which is what we want, ideally. They can rotate back of here, but we're giving them the opportunity to make a mistake. That's how you win games. Make people make mistakes. If everyone played perfectly, it would just be a stalemate every time. You only win by making people make mistakes. And when you're going from White Room to point like this, you're making them make the mistake of not moving back into their team, moving to the back of the point. And as a brawl comp, that's where we want them. Okay. Nice. Okay. This is a good wall. We should be able to burst out this Rhine. I want to slow it down because I don't think we will. Okay, actually we can't because it's already a bubble. That's okay. Not your fault. I don't know what blocked that, but whoever did, good job. Oh, gosh darn it. That's 20 seconds behind. Great shatter. Adam, you gotta get behind your team. Stop it. This is not where we want you right now. Albeit, that's actually not terrible. You are disrupting their being quite a nuisance to their BAP and junk. But okay. Did I keep clicking the wrong button. That's on me. Okay, you went for a play, Adam. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out. I don't know, because I think there was an opportunity for you to really help out your team there, so not too worried about that. Okay, now we're taking White Room. This is good. They can't chase us. Why? Well, because we have Maywall. They can't chase us up here. We're good. Now we have White Room. They cannot take White Room from us, at least not from there. So they're being forced to either they just let us rotate to point for free, or we go on to them on point. So this is not good. How did we end up this split? So we're just not following Zeke. That's what it looks like. Oh, that was a little far back, wasn't it? Oh, that was too far. We're doing a great job. This is great. This is good. Yeah, and then okay, well we're pretty much back though. It's not that bad. But then we don't follow him. Obscura Dumpster. Obscura, you want to be rotating, just constantly rotating around the back of the map here. Just around the circle. You're fine. You can play around this corner. Not around the corner, around this wall. And then if you need to, you can just jump up and immortality field. Like, you've got options. This is not great. You're split from the rest of your team. Adam, I don't know what you're doing. I can't imagine there's any reason why you should be here. Same with Dumpster. We are not playing with Orion. Good job, Wally and Alex. Wally could be a little bit closer. Not a big deal. Nitpicking at that point. So, good job on our DPS there. Like, we need... Adam, we need you right now. Your speed is so important. So right now, this is really bad. Our Rhine is off, doing whatever. Zeke, I think at this point, you know that your team is not there. So, we have the beat, so we can pin relatively safely, but just know that your team is not there. They should be, though. But we created an opportunity. We got the wall on the Rhine. It's just that our Rhine isn't there because we weren't stacking. And our Rhine was previously chasing people, but he can't because we don't have the speed from our Lucio. So, we don't care that the sim is here. We could not care less right now. This is great for us, that their sim is off doing whatever behind us. Now, I mean, she could just teleport back at any second. That's why, especially, that's just another reason you don't really want to take that fight, is because Sim can just leave. But we do get more value with the speed here. Okay, we're regrouping.
Огонь по готовности. Overtime.
Yeah. And that is going to be it. So, stack. I mean, that's just number 3 is stacking. If you're gonna play this Brawl comp, you need to actually play Brawl. And when you guys don't follow your Rhine, and I don't know, I think Zeke did a really good job with the pathing calls there. So I would imagine that he continued to do really good pathing. So I'm gonna put that our DPS knew at the end of that fight. They knew I gotta be behind my Rhine. My Rhine needs me. We need the wall. We need the pressure from our Reaper. But not everyone else. I mean, okay, we know that, right? We've played Brawl before. We played it well before. But it's easy to forget. It's easy to want to take an off angle. And there are, especially times on Zarya, there are times you can take an off angle. But at that point in time, our Rhine is trying to engage with our team. And when a wall is a big one of our win conditions, we need the damage from the Zarya just to actually punish these walls, punish them quickly. Otherwise, they will get broken, or we're not able to kill them and the immortality field. We need people. Once we get a pick, maybe we get 2 picks. If Zarya wants to then realize that, okay, our Rhine isn't going to be pushed into anytime soon, you can help create a lot of space, relieve a lot of pressure by taking a little bit of an off angle and trying to apply pressure to their support line. But at the beginning of fights, Zarya needs to be sticking with the Rhine. Same with Obscura. You don't need to be, especially once you're at the point, Obscura, you don't need to be directly behind your Rhine. You probably don't want to be. But you should be with your Rhine. Especially because when you took that angle, in White Room, not only are putting yourself more at risk when you're not playing behind your team, in reference to where the enemy is, you're also not able to, I'm pretty sure when we had those coaches and they talked about healing and doing damage, you're really just putting yourself into a position where you're healing. You're not really able to... I mean, I guess you could also do damage, but it might be difficult if we get a wall. The wall might cut you off. A lot of reasons. Anyways, I'm going to continue. Do we get the touch? Yes. And then that is it. Alright, next map.
Ready for battle.
Okay, once again, sim TPing. Let's see if we can be first this time. We're going with the Doom Rhine strategy. I do like this play. I know the people in the voice channel with probably don't know what this is, and I'll mention it. I'll mention if you guys do it or not, the reason we play Doom here. It's a little bit cheeky, but
5,
I like it.
4,
Stole it from a team that used it against us in scrims.
round.
Alright,
2.
do we get the TP
Capture
first?
the
Who gets it? We are red, they are blue. We get it first! Congratulations! I mean, they're pretty in sync, but we did get it first. Good job. Okay. Adam, get with your team. Wait, we need that speed. Spectator overlay. This is very handy. Let's see where people are looking. So we didn't go for the initial... Well, we might still... Right, we go the Doom Rhine. Why? Because once we TP out, we're assuming they're also brawling. Rhine and Doom both punch and pin at the same time. Hopefully to find a really early pick onto their Rhine or someone else. We don't do it though. So just remember, Zeke, if we're going this comp... Now, the Doom is still fine even without you pinning in. Like, that was a really good punch right there from Alex. Really good, setting their Rhine at half. Really good way to start the fight. Even better if we can just find the elimination with the pin and the punch. So, just keep that in mind next time. Not a big deal, but it is a boon of playing this composition. Great. Awesome. And, you know, I think a big reason we got those picks is because we got to the point a lot faster than they did. So, not a lot. It was like milliseconds. But that matters in Overwatch. So, great job. They are super changing up their comp now to obviously counter Alex. So, Alex, I would expect some kind of change out of you. So actually, let's pause and talk about this. So we've got Ball Zarya, Tracer Echo, Ana, Mercy. Big total team change. Only person that stayed the same was the Zarya here. So they are going to be attempting to bubble their ball in, follow up with Tracer and with Echo applying bursts of pressure. That's the thing. If it was a Pharah Mercy, I would say a constant amount of pressure. But because it's Echo Mercy, it's usually going to be more... There is a constant pressure, but it's more bursty, generally. And Ana, but we have Zarya, so we're not really too worried about the nades. So how do we beat this comp? Well, we're playing Brawl right now. So that already means that they have to break us on point. Or we might do something else that I'll talk about in just a second. They have to fight us onto point. Can we punish the bubble ball? Monkey ball. No, not monkey ball. They're not playing monkey. I was trying to think of something clever. Hamster ball. He's already ball. Okay, anyways. Can we? Be pretty difficult. Cost us a lot of resources, but probably not that engaged. Now, just that alone doesn't beat us by any means. Like a swing and a pile driver, like Bap just clicking shift, we're fine. It's the follow-up that we're concerned about, the disruption, and then the follow-up from the Tracer and the Echo. In this situation, where they just are heavily trying to counter what you guys are doing, we're changing the way we're playing. First, we were playing Brawl, sticking on the point, just making it difficult for them to push into us. Now, that's not really, they're not playing, it's not a Brawl mirror anymore. Break the SimTP, and we're going to try and use the SimTP to rush down their Ana and their Zarya. Right, because the Ana wants to be playing in a position where she can see the ball and the DPS when they go in. That means there's a sight line where we can put up the TP and leave the point and just explode their Ana or their Zarya. That is what I would be playing for at this point, because they dramatically changed the way that they're playing. Well, now we have to dramatically change the way that they're playing. So until we can make a composition change to try and match them, I think that's a pretty decent option. You're not going to be able to... The downside is you're not going to be able to SimTP onto the Mercy or Echo or Tracer or Ball. They're not very susceptible to that. But Zarya and Ana definitely are. And they don't have that many resources available. Like, we're counter diving, essentially. Once they go in, we're going out. Not the other way around. We're not going in first, because then the Ball Tracer just messes us up outside the point, which is not what we want. But once they've used those cooldowns to engage into us, we get out. Get the Ana or the Zarya or both in an ideal world, and now they don't have the resources to push us off of point. Okay, so what do we do? We're leaving the SimTP up, which is about to get broken by the ball. Okay. I hope you guys realize you're playing exactly into what they want you to do. Well, I mean, I don't think this is a big deal. I mean, yeah, the Echo wanted you to move to point, obviously. She was just touching point, putting a little bit of poke into you guys, and everyone turned around. But I don't think they gained too much from doing that, so that's not a big concern. Oh, they go Diva. That is a weird decision. Yeah, that's pretty silly. Zarya is definitely much more favorable for them there. I don't know why they go Diva. That's the only thing Diva eats is the Baptiste and Lucio and some fire strikes. I guess Zarya right click. I don't know. Very weird decision. Zeke is, why aren't we stacked together? Why is Zeke so alone? Wait, where is Zeke? Okay, so we don't all rotate to... Well, we're backing up. Okay, maybe it's taking us a little bit. That's okay. I'm gonna slow it down. Yeah, I mean, they went into this fight looking to disrupt us, and we let them. We stopped following our Rhine because we're afraid of a pile driver for a ball who's at probably 600, like normal health with the shields. So should Zeke have made a different rotation, or should we have rotated with Zeke? I think the answer is probably we should have Zeke should have been on this left side here. You're not going to be able to push off. Like, your comp just is not going to be able to deal with the Echo Mercy at the side. We just have to take the fights we can win. And if that's punishing the ball, then it's punishing the ball. But we cannot punish this Echo Mercy with the comp that we have right now. Yeah, so that cost us a life. But looks like we may get the ball, so we are even. So, do we have target focus here? We got disrupted. Are we able to call out a target? Reassess? Maybe. No. Dumpster's looking at the tracer. Wally is... What is Wally doing? What is Alex doing? Okay, I guess Wally is dealing with the diva. Alex has not looked at the diva. I assume you want the diva. Maybe not. Oh! Alex is looking to try and stop the res, I think. But it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do that. Unfortunate. We're not able to do that. But we just don't have target focus anyways. Like, we just bubbled. Our Lucio does not need this bubble right now. Would be great if we had bubble for Alex when he's coming back. Dumpster's still dueling the Tracer. Obscura looks like well, Obscura's just focused on healing right now. It doesn't have a sight line onto the Tracer. Wally is on the Diva. Alex is on the Echo Mercy. Lucio is on the ball, I guess, or the Echo Mercy. So we're very split here. Very, very split. So I put stacking as one. I'm going to add target focusing. Because you can stack. We're not stacked right here. I don't think that is 100% our fault. Like, their comp is designed to disrupt us and push us into positions we don't want to be with the ball. I definitely think we could have done better. But even if we weren't stacked, if we had target focus, then this fight would have gone differently probably. Because we got picks. Okay, we got the DMAC, but we're still not focusing the same target. Okay, so Wally gets picked off. Our Rhine, we give up the point. And we don't make any changes to our composition. Doom isn't going to find a lot of value here. If Ana is way out of position, you can. I mean, Diva, I guess she'll have, it's better than the Zarya, but it's still not ideal. Doom doesn't really want to be punching tanks.
Lifting off.
Weird decision to stick with this comp, I think. Especially, Dubstar, you should be Zarya. Or not Zarya. You definitely should be Diva here. Diva shuts down the Tracer and can shut down the Echo Mercy, who right now would be the only person on our team that really can outside of Obscura popping off. So that is the easiest change you could make to continue to run the comp you're going. That's weird. I gotta turn off the spectator overlay. Looks like we thought we were TPing there, but we kept rotating.
Suiting up. Now show them.
I think the stickies went on to Zeke's shield, and then Zeke, you dropped this. You dropped your shield, but then the stickies went on to Wally instead. Okay, looks like we had a little bit of confusion about what we were doing here.
Time to raid my APM.
Yeah, they. Oops. Where was that TP to? Oh. I probably would have used wall just to make that. Like, we have wall available. I think that was a pretty good opportunity because they are going to try and disrupt us before we can TP. And they did. So it's very hard for us to punish them, especially when we're not even where we want to be yet. It's very, and I think if we had a better idea, like I think we thought we were TPing here, and then it was called that we weren't, which so then we just continued to take poke damage, and then eventually we came over to here. But I think the team needed a second to regroup. Also, if you're making this rotation, then just come up from here. Then they can't see you. Don't forget that this exists. Like, you have all this area, and you could have just ended up here without taking any poke. So don't forget about that. If you want to make this TP, then, especially against the comp that they're going, this is where you want to be doing it. Okay, but sticky.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
Okay. Come on, Obscura. There's a sim wall there you could play around. Okay.
Rotation complete. Mobility increased.
So now we're making this rotation underneath. Okay, but we swapped it up. We put Wally on the Kree. Great. I still don't think Doom is a good choice here, but that's fine. I mean, Wally's our hit scan player anyways. This is better. This should have happened before if we were going to make that rotation, but
Flight routine activated.
I'm gonna have to shoot you down.
Meteor strike.
okay. I missed that. So our rotation seemed a bit slow. Let's get the overhead on this with the spectator overlay.
I'm gonna have to shoot you down.
Always just a little bit behind our Rhine. Especially Obscura. I mean, you can jump over though. So if we're just making a rotation into gardens, and that's fine. You just jump over the wall. No problemo if that is what we're doing.
Meteor strike.
That's odd. So we go forward to courtyard. I believe that's what it's called. To courtyard. And then our shield breaks so that we decide to go into point instead. You guys are playing. You're still playing. Well. Yeah, you're still playing, especially with the Doomfist, more brawly than rush. So you want to be on the point. So probably should have never tried to go main. We just lost our shield because of it, but it's okay. All right. Shatter comes out. Does not find anyone. But our Doom ult will. Alex, we're moving to point. That was not the time to split yourself off from the team. Like, our pathing was known there. We know we're going to point. That's what our cop wants to be doing. So, Obviously, that's a little bit aggressive, and we're probably going to get punished.
Easy.
Yep. Okay, but that's fine. We traded. Why? We're so split. They haven't even really engaged with us yet. Keep stacking. Like, this is not great. I know we're okay, but Zeke is not. I think so. Okay, what could have been changed here? I think Zeke is not playing in a position that's great for the rest of our team. Like, the rest of our team is in top-notch condition. Obviously, Zeke's shield is getting really close to breaking. But could we have not just played around here? Let's see.
Meteor strike.
Oh, this is a little bit behind. So ball goes in.
Easy.
Okay, so hello, what'd I do? Oh no. I'm so bad. All right. Okay, so we are here. We're where we want to be. This is pretty good. We don't need Wally directly behind Orion anymore, especially because they're not going Orion. We're not looking for those flashes. It's better to be protecting Obscura in this case, which we are.
Lifting off.
Okay, so that was our mistake. This is... Zeke, you should not have to worry about moving back to Peel, because your supports should be pushing into you when they are under pressure from the ball and the diva. Now, the ball and the diva aren't even going to stay. Like, ball, half health, he's leaving. Diva is about to boost her out. Cannot survive there if she doesn't. So, don't worry about giving up space to peel for your supports, because you're on Rhine. Like, if you just stood here and just held up shield, and now their Ana is totally useless, then you are doing great things. And if our supports DPS are being pressured, they push into you. Well, once the enemy is in range, you just start wailing at them. But it's much better that you make sure that your team has that space available to them.
Nerf this.
Yeah, we went from having total dominance over the point to them literally not committing any ults, not even staying like on the point to fight us, and we just kind of gave it to them. And that led to us taking a lot of poke. Wally's going to get picked off because of that, because we focused on rotating away, giving them the space. That's not what this comp wants to be doing. We had every opportunity to maintain the space that we had, but we kind of gave it up for free there. Like, it's only now that they commit the bomb. Oh. Oh, we don't get booped off. Nice. Oh, that was a pretty clutch projected.
Огонь по готовности. Locking on. Burn down. Boosting up.
Ah. So close. If you guys had just not given up that space, you definitely would have won that fight. Absolutely. Because I don't think they're playing that well, but we are playing into there, like into what they, like we're giving them opportunities that are advantageous, I suppose. Okay, let's up the speed again.
Taking off.
Whiff, great pick. Wally, not exactly sure what you're doing. I mean, that was a good pick, but then we just stopped rotating with the rest of our team and died, so... Okay. Neato. We use beat. To save Wally, maybe? Wouldn't have been an LOS of the beat anyways. Maybe. Or it was just too late. I'm assuming it was to save Wally. I mean, now they just wait for, like, they shouldn't even be engaging right now. Like, they should just be waiting for the beat to go away.
It's high noon.
So, Zeke, this is good. Keep doing this. I know it's difficult. It feels bad. They're putting a lot of pressure on you. You're not going to be able to do it forever. But your team is in really, really good shape. Like, they negated the ball. Ball's out. Tracer is behind, still having not found that much value. And Diva is going in. As long as the people behind you can focus down one target, which, once again, you guys are not doing. We have the Ball May looking at the ball. Not Ball May. Lucio May looking at the ball. We have Bap and Zarya looking at the Tracer. Not what you want to be doing. Make your main tank's life a little bit easier by actually focusing down a single target. Like, punishing them for diving this aggressively. And then we can regroup with our main tank and actually help them out again. Because they're not going to be able to keep the Ana and the Kree off forever. Oh. Diva executes onto our Zarya. Oh, come on, Obscure. Well, yeah, Obscure got a little bit distracted there. I mean, that's tough. We didn't realize necessarily how much pressure our Zarya was taking, and we saw our Rhine. Yeah. A little unfortunate. They got us split up, distracted. So, they're playing their comp well. Good immortality. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they went to counter you guys. They played their comp well. Like, they weren't trying to stop you from getting the point. They don't care. They let you guys get the point. So, I mean, which is what they should be doing if they want to win. Yeah, just once again, that map was a lot of stacking and kind of off of that. Very similarly, also target focus was just not there. So now we're trying the... We're rushing? No. We are diving with... What are we doing? No, BAP. What is this?
Ready for battle. 3, 2, 1. Round 3. Capture the objective.
Zarya, Kree, Echo Mercy, Ana, Monkey. So double bubble with the Echo Mercy. Okay, perfectly doable. What are we trying to accomplish with this comp? We're trying to make sure our Monkey is set up. We need to control space that our Monkey can dive from. And we want our Echo Mercy to be when we're being aggressive, we want our Echo Mercy to be able to also follow our monkey in, and we want our Kree to be off angling while our monkey's in. Everyone on the team, same with Zarya maybe, but Zarya should also be playing a little bit closer to the Ana in fear of counter dives, but obviously that actually more depends on what comp they're going, if that is a concern at all. So that's when we're being offensive. That's what our comp should look like. If we're being defensive, well, why are we being defensive? Well, either we're waiting for our resources or we're trying to take space so that our monkey can set up from. Those are times where we're being defensive. In those scenarios, our Echo Mercy is, I mean, it should be pretty easy for Echo Mercy to take space. Now, they might decide where you can and cannot take space, but taking space outside of that should be relatively easy, just wherever they let you exist. And then our Kree should be making sure that our Kree and Zarya are essentially escorting our monkey and Ana to where they want to be. And it's okay if, I don't think on this map it's necessary, but on some maps you may decide that the monkey should be split off from the rest of the group because that's just a better staging position. But the monkey staging position isn't where we want our Ana and Zarya to be. That's also okay. They are going rush. I mean, we've played this comp before. We've seen it before. We know what they want to be doing. If they're playing it well, which they've been playing comps well before this, they're cycling their EMP and coalescences. They are playing very fast. They're not playing on the point. They are playing into your team. So Kree, you're going to be on guard duty. Same with the Zarya. So when do we engage and when do we be offensive? I think that's what this is going to come down to. We ideally, in an ideal world, it looks like we're set up, and then when they push into us, we try to punish these rotations. That's what it looks like in an ideal world, is what we want it to look like. I think this is a difficult-ish matchup. Well, no, it's pretty even because our monkey cannot stay in very long. Even with both bubbles, you're just not going to be able to stay in very long because if both bubbles go away and you get hacked, you're dead. If Reaper's going to be on our monkey all the time. So that's something to be aware of, Zeke. So your aggression is going to be dampened quite a bit. But our Echo Mercy, outside of the Diva, who is a concern, outside of the Diva, you're pretty all set. Now, Diva doesn't even want to be dealing with you. The Diva exists in that comp to be DMing their team in, essentially, acting kind of like a Zarya and making these rotations easier, DMing their Reaper. Once Diva, I think once they get close, are in range of your team, then if Diva has any DM or when the Diva has DM, she's going to be trying to shut down Wally. So, I guess it depends. It's going to be Wally or Echo Mercy. So, Diva's attention is split. So, if Diva's not on you, Wally, take advantage of that fact. And if Diva's not on you, Alex, take advantage of that fact. She can't do both, ideally. If she is doing both, then something's gone terribly wrong. Alright, we can play it now. Okay. We got hacked. That is bad. But they're not in a great position to be punishing it yet. Okay. Okay, so we know they have the Sombra. We know there's a pretty good chance they have Sombra. Why? We can't see the Sombra. Sombra's invisible. How do we know that? Well, we see the Diva, we see the Monkey, we see the Lucio. Like, we know this comp, we know Sombra, like the way those three and what are going to get value is through EMP. Like, we know what they're playing. There's a good chance, like right off the bat. That's just kind of, and like for those who play like Magic the Gathering, I know there are people on Cetus who play Magic the Gathering. Like, a big part of Magic is recognizing what their composition is, or as early as you can, not composition, what their deck is, as early as you can in the game, and understanding what their win conditions are and how they interact with you. Same is true for Overwatch. Once we see those three, we know there's a good chance Sombra is lurking somewhere. Now, eventually, we'll get Tab. We'll get the ability to see exactly what they're going. And now we have perfect information in that regard. But until then, we can make educated guesses. So, we just didn't have to get hacked there. I think that was a big thing. But okay. We trade, though. That's pretty good. Unfortunately, the rest of our comp needs time to get value. Our Zarya is high charge, but doesn't have any more bubbles left. Our Kree does not have flash. We don't have stickies. So we're pretty low on resources here. Our Ana doesn't have any cooldowns? Yeah. Which is not the case for them. So they just amp into us here. Are we able to rotate out? We are. Maybe? We don't. We play very aggressively.
The objective is now active.
Okay. Okay. That's not a good... That is not a good decision, Zeke. Like, we are setting up dives. We're waiting for our team to be in position. I said earlier, if D.Va has the opportunity to be DMing both our Echo and our Kree, then we did something horribly wrong. That is that. If they recognize that how close you are right now, then there's pretty much nothing stopping them from just pressing amp and pushing into your team. And right now, because our DPS are not split up, taking different angles, which is something I don't think I mentioned, but yeah, Kree and Echo always taking different angles. We know that. They can probably pretty easily punish you right now. Especially because their Monkey, while technically out of the fight right now, will be back very, very quickly. Do they punish? Bubble comes out. Second bubble comes out. Okay. So this is now Alex, ideally, especially right now, it would be really cool if you and the Mercy, like, Adam, stop taking ult charge from your Ana. Well, I say that we were actually taking a lot of pressure before, like, and we can see it on our health bars now. We're not in a great position. So, but in an ideal world, where Zeke gave us a chance to set up, our Echo Mercy are on a flank behind here. That would be great. Now we're taking a different angle. Right now, Kree and Echo both on very, very similar angles. So, take a different angle. Our Kree is on a different angle. Right now we are on the offense.
I am unstoppable.
Okay. that was a good job. I think they could have done better, but I don't think we did necessarily that badly. I mean, look at what they charged EMP before they have Coalescence. So clearly, they're probably not playing their comp optimally, but I don't think that was necessarily bad from our part either. I think you guys actually did a good job. And we saw that when Diva has to focus down either our Kree or our Echo, one of them is finding value. Whoever's not being shut down at that point in time. And I do think we took advantage of that fact. So, Dumpster. Probably be spy checking. Zarya, not the greatest, but still not terrible if Sombra doesn't respect your range. Yeah, still not great though. I don't actually, oops. I don't actually think, yeah. Alex is spy checking. I appreciate that, Alex. Good on you. Okay, Monkey jumping in without the rest of his team behind him. I mean, this is an easy kill. They are not playing their comp how they should be, which is very closely together. Although this might be EMP, but they're not. Well, yeah, it probably is. Okay, so EMP came out. How do you? Wait, does Zarya not lose her shields from EMP? Oh, I did not know that. Or, but I. Huh. I guess if Zarya uses self and is EMP'd, she doesn't lose the shields.
Correct.
I did not know that. All right. Learn something new every day. Okay, pretty cool. I'll say that was intentional. Good job, Dumpster. All right. So, big problem is I don't think we needed to get EMP'd there. Right? There's no reason. Like, we should we expect the EMP? Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's pretty early. They did a really good job farming their EMP, but I mean, look how close we are to duplicate. So I don't think that's unreasonable to. I think we should have probably expected the EMP. It is pretty fast, but yeah, I mean, that's just a part of calling out what else they have, is just having that information available. All right, so, but in an ideal world, maybe Echo Mercy playing over here. Ana Kree playing inside this room. We know they have EMP, so they can just get around a wall real quick. And our Monkey is playing right here. Zarya maybe playing with a Monkey, maybe playing over here a little bit. So we're not playing close together. We don't need to. Especially if we know they have EMP or think it's a possibility. That's just playing around ults. So actually I'm gonna add that. Because I haven't been focusing on alt usage that much in this VOD review. Because I don't actually think it's been a huge problem. And maybe it has. Maybe I should have been paying more attention. But I do think playing, not just identifying ultimates, but playing around ultimates is important. Okay. We use Primal to try and disrupt them, prevent them from focusing down one of us. I don't think it's gonna be enough, unfortunately.
Hail the Mahal.
Okay, yeah, they have no idea what they're doing. They use Coalescence and E&B here.
I might need this later.
I mean, maybe they're hoping. I mean, they have all 4 of their other ults, so maybe they're assuming that by using their other ults, they can win a fight, and then, yeah. Weird decision, though. Okay. So, Zeke, we can't stay here very long. We know that. We know they have a pretty high damage output, at least a very high burst damage, and then if the Reaper is in range, a very high continuous damage. So shield's gonna be popped soon. We're gonna lose our bubble soon. Probably before, especially when we go for a dive like that, before we actually get our cooldowns, our jump cooldown available again to leave. I don't know. Are they able to punish us? Let's see. I would assume we die very quickly, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I mean, okay. It was enough. We get around the corner. Okay, yeah. You know, I was going to look at that, and if you died there, that was going to be okay. I was right, but I don't think I am. I think you played that very well, knowing how much damage they're going to do. Did they play that well as well? I mean, yeah, everyone's looking at you. Okay. Then I think you actually did a really good job. I thought that that would be too much pressure, but I guess I'm underestimating the damage, or how much damage double bubble can take in. So that's really good, actually. Should we? So you lived. That is good, but should we have waited for the rest of our team to rotate first? Yeah, actually, I think we should have. Where was Alex for this fight? So we go in. Alex is right behind. Okay. Actually, not too worried about that. I do think in an ideal world, maybe Alex was already ready to, like, going in like a second or two earlier, but yeah, I think that was actually our Echo Mercy does go in with the monkey, which is good. That is what we want. Our Kree is now taking an off angle. Our Ana's playing bridge. We do force our Ana to play bridge until she can make that rotation. And that's a scary rotation to make with the Lucio and the Monkey Primal. I would not want to be Obscura right now. So either we risk it, send our Ana across, or we play around this corner until, like, we create enough space that our Ana is pretty safe when rotating. Let's see what we do. I think you guys might be able to just create the space. Okay, Grab goes out, but it doesn't find their monkey. Oh, that's pretty unfortunate. Oh, it's actually nowhere close to getting their monkey. Really would have liked if you did get the monkey there. That would have been great. Then our Ana can just totally freely rotate tons of time. I mean, actually, this isn't... Well, actually, yeah, I think playing here would be okay, even with the monkey primal, maybe. Yeah, especially with the space we're creating. Okay. How many else is that? Uno, dos, tres. Okay. We forced out beat. Yeah. But we won the fight. Valka's pretty cheap. So is Creel. Okay. This is not, now it's not over yet. But it essentially is. That was a little bit of a close call there. Good bubble dumpster for saved Wally there. Okay, not a bad fight. Not a bad fight. That was actually really, really strong. I like that. Good job. Ooh. Okay. I like the initiative. I always like being aggression. Very high aggression. But the rest of our team is set up. Well, actually, Wally is not set up. That is, I think, the only downside to this is... Oh. Wally's not really in a good position to take advantage of this engagement yet. So, if there was something to improve on, it'd be that. And I guess Dumpster, too, could be a little bit closer. Although, if Sombra continues to push our supports... I don't know exactly what Sombra's doing right now, then Dumpster would deal with that. Okay.
Winston.
Ooh. This went from great to terribly wrong. Oh, we chased... Zeke. Why are you chasing their Sombra? That was not a good decision.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Winston.
Oh.
Excuse me for dropping in.
Both primals used. Yeah, you don't, you ignore the Sombra. Sombra just translocates out. I would much rather you continue to push their backline here. Because then that just makes the team behind here even more free to push in and punish the rotations. Okay. So we do that. Adam gets lost a little bit. That is unfortunate. What? Oh. What is this trail? It's from the nano? That's weird. Okay. Did we need a nano Wally there? Was he going low? No. Yeah. That's not gonna work out the way you want it to, Obscura. Once a monkey sees the Kree gets nanoed, he's like, alright, yeah, I'll just go on the Ana instead. A nano Kree is not enough. Well, if it was with a high charge Zarya, you might... Or Zeke is only now coming back, about to lose Primal. Yeah, this fell apart a little bit. Why did it fall apart? So going back, I'm just going to go back one more time. This fight fell apart because Zeke made a micro mistake. That was more, well, I don't know. I think that mistake was macro, because on a macro level, we wanted to get into their backline, which would cause a rotation. When they're rotating, because of that disruption.
He needs help.
What's that? Oh, Zion? Okay. When the team rotates back, that creates opportunities for what would be our Echo. Echo duped Monkey. I don't know if duping Monkey was a great idea, because you actually just lose a lot of follow-up. That Echo would have been able... I actually think you would have gotten more value on the Echo than you would have with compared to duplicating the Monkey, because you only need one Monkey Primal to cause disruption. Adding another Monkey Primal, as we kind of saw, had diminishing gains, rewards, I guess. So I think staying in your Echo form, and then eventually maybe duping the Reaper or Diva, or once Zeke's Primal went away, duping the Winston. I think those would have been good options, but doing it that early led to diminishing returns, not actually being able to follow up on the disruption that Zeke was causing, which Zeke went to really far away from the team. Didn't actually cause... Maybe that's... Yeah. Zeke just kind of left the fight eventually, which was, I think, just a mistake. I said before, Wally wasn't in a position yet to follow up on the rotation, forcing them to back up. Neither was Dumpster. And then Adam, unfortunately, wasn't able to follow. I think, yeah, and if Alex had stayed Echo, Adam would have stayed relatively safer in the sky compared to going into the fight. I actually don't think you should have even been in that fight, Adam. I think pocketing your Kree would have been a better idea, because you're not putting yourself in harm's way, which is what we saw. So, all right. That is why what I think would have been a really good decision, engaging early there. They didn't look like they were ready to have that fight. So that was all increases speed. Weird decision. Okay, they are just throwing ultimates at that fight. This is good for you guys. That's how I think it went from really favorable to less so. Okay. So now they're going to do the same thing to us. Except with only Bomb and Reaper ult available. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is looking really bad for them. Oh, Reaper TP'd behind us. Obscura. Okay. This is an Ana thing. Don't use nade and sleep, like, together. You should pretty much always have, at least with very little downtime, both abilities, or one of those abilities up at some point. We use both cooldowns here, which means we have now nothing for the Reaper who's behind us. Nade would have stopped him from gaining life, making it easier to, and we probably would have killed him during the ultimate. Sleep would have just shut him down entirely. And then this is also checking our backs, right? Do we see the Reaper? Nope. So check your backs. Like, know that the Reaper had his ultimate. They probably are going to use it this fight. Which, yeah, they did. And it looks like that's going to be enough to punish us, which is unfortunate. It looks like we were doing really, really well countering their dive, but they were that aggressive because they planned on using their ults there. They're going to send bomb while we're trying to get to point, I assume. Or nope, they're going to save it. Good touch, Adam. Wait, what was that rollout? I think we got to highlight that real quick.
Team kill.
That looked clean.
Come on, let's bring it together. Ooh.
Okay, Adam. Okay. I see you. We're good touch. I like it. We're working on our Lucio. That's for sure. I like it.
Nerf this.
Okay.
Mecha activated.
Yeah, we're just stalling at this point. I think your clock's off.
I'm gonna have to shoot you down.
Good attempt. We had to make a play there. Did Lucio just beat only themselves? Okay, they did have other people. Okay.
Victory.
Hello, Cetus. Dash, 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 dash. With slower, that's a map-specific thing. I didn't actually put any more map-specific things after this, really. But number one, especially on control center, when you're slower to rotate into white room compared to the other brawl comp, move to point, which you guys did end up sort of doing, but unfortunately we did not punish people on their team that made a bad rotation, and because we didn't punish them, that actually put us in an unfavorable position and we ended up losing the fight. Number two, check your backs. Saw a great example at the end there as to why you should do that, and a small Ana mechanical thing. Stacking. Like, if you guys are going to play Brawl, there needs to be stacking. A lot of issues. And who are we stacking on? If our Ryan is alive, it's the Ryan. If our Ryan is not alive, it's probably going to be the Zarya. If our Zarya is not alive, then it's going to be one of our DPS. If it's Reaper, it's going to be Reaper. If, I don't know. If it's not Reaper, then Kree or Mei. Then it becomes more gray area. But stacking is important. Always stacking. That's how you're gonna win fights, especially messy fights, is by stacking. Target focus. That is, if you stack well, your target focus is just going to be easier. But if you don't, then your target focus is going to be much harder. So those two are very interlinked together. But when we were playing the dive, where stacking is not really a concern, then target focus it's still important. It's just a little bit harder. That's why I think Brawl and Rush are comps that are very common and well liked. I guess I say liked. Are played a lot relatively well at much lower levels, because as long as they can get stacking, target focus will come naturally. So, which is not true for dive because there is no stacking. So target focus is harder. So, but that's just callouts and listening to callouts. So I'm sure Dumpster does a really good job with calling out targets. Sometimes that job is distributed to your monkey or a DPS player. If that's the case, then just listen to them. If you're that person that's calling it out, just make sure you're calling it out and repeating it. If you're shooting at the target, also call out who you're shooting. Like echo that call. We've talked about that a little bit. Maybe I'll go into more detail on Saturday. And play around ultimates. We knew they have. It was just that one example with EMP. And if I decided to spend more time looking at ultimates, maybe you could have found more examples where we could have played around ultimate abilities better. But EMP was the most evident one where just literally no reason we had to be playing that close together. Could have made it so that only 2 people on our team were hit by the EMP. And Sombra had to choose. Was it going to be the Echo Mercy? Was it going to be the tanks? Was it going to be our support line and like a DPS? So make the Sombra have to choose which one. You don't get to choose which section gets EMP'd, but you do get to decide which group of people does, if that makes sense. Like, if Sombra really wants the supports, that's fine. She can get the supports. But maybe she can't get the rest of our team who is not playing near supports, or at very least playing around a wall while EMP is a threat. Okay. And with that, that's going to be it for Lijiang. I'll probably do another one later. But if you guys have... Oh! That's right. Hold on. Let me open up. So Adam sent me... I mentioned this at the beginning. Adam sent me some images of the way of a comp that he wants us to play, or at least in theory could be played. I will be talking about why that is not why it's not going to work. Any comp can work in theory, but why it may be more difficult than running Brawl, and things that might become easier when running this compared to Brawl. So let me go share that. Let me get rid of my notes here and move to display capture. Okay. Look at this video tracking. All right. So Zarya Ball, Reaper, Echo, Lucio, Mercy. They say this is more of a proof of concept and less of a sustainable composition. A team, so we're playing this comp, according to Adam, plays in 2 groups. The Zarya, Lucio, Reaper, who is trying to get onto the back of the point. And then the B team, Echo, or Ball, Echo, Mercy, are playing in Dark Room? Or above, I think. Just behind the enemy. Okay, so wherever is... So Route 1. Okay, it looks like up top. Okay, looks like they want to go up top. Or at very... so just at very least, they want to get behind the enemy. So wherever the enemy is, the B team wants to be behind them. Enemy TP's out. So the Echo Mercy stay up top. Poke at the team. Okay, so looking at this, I think you can read it. You know what? I'll zoom in, make it a little bit easier. Oh, okay. So right now, you're running the Zarya to bubble the Reaper, who is going into the enemy team, or at least that's what in our conversations was what we were talking about. It's Reaper is an option, but because like the DPS doesn't have the sustainability like Monkey does to stay in there even longer. Like Bubble is the only defensive cooldown they really have. Granted, they have an escape mechanism, but probably instead of Reaper, what we would run is Doom instead, who is just going to be doesn't need as much time to find picks, which is good because bubble won't last forever. So then we're going the Lucio to amp our team to point, and then rotate away if they push into that team. Here's why I don't think that will work. Especially if they're going May with their Brawl comp, which is still fairly common. If we're playing on the back of the point, we already talked about how White Room is far more favorable than the back of the point. Why? Well, because your options of rotations, especially if you're already at the back of the point, you've got one. It's to your spawn. If you're see the pink line here, if you're making that rotation, well, May just puts up a wall between where you're trying to go, and your team just kind of collapses. So instead of that, we know that Brawl wants to play point. And if we're not going Brawl, probably initially, like we saw on Lijiang Night Market, if we're not going Brawl, we're just going to let them. We're going to give them the point. That's fine. But we're going to win the fight still and then retake the point. And just, you're going to give up a little bit, but it's still okay because you're still ideally winning these fights. Instead of Lucio, I would suggest going Zen instead, because we're trying to disrupt them, right? We've got the ball, and we'd have Doom, who's going to be getting the bubbles from the Zarya. We don't want to go Monkey, because Monkey needs more resources, needs the bubble from the Zarya, which means Doom isn't going to be getting it, which isn't necessarily terrible, but then why even, you are losing that disruption. Doom doesn't have the ability to be as aggressive. Maybe you just play Kree instead, because you already have the Echo Mercy at that point, and now we've just moved over to double bubble. So if you're not going double bubble, which this comp isn't double bubble right now, but it's in a weird state where these pieces don't work perfect together, or at least it could work better. So a way to change that is moving this to double bubble, or just going with the ball Zarya, but then moving to Doom. Ball doesn't get the bubble. That's okay. Ball doesn't necessarily need it. Doom gets the bubble. We keep the Echo Mercy, but because maybe we're rotating to high ground instead, or planning on hoping to disrupt, and just not playing point. So we're never going to play on top of them, which means they're always going to have to, if they want to deal with our core, right now the Zarya Reaper or / Doom core, because Doom's not always going to be in their backline, needs a place to retreat to. If they're going to rush us down, instead of Lucio boosting away from us, it's more favorable to play into our strengths, which is disruption and trying to find picks through dives with our ball, with our Echo Mercy. So play the Zen instead of the Lucio. Punish these rotations. Zen makes it far easier for our Echo Mercy, for our Reaper, for our ball, all these people who are going to be going in. Maybe our Echo Mercy is just kind of feeding off of the disruption that the ball and Doomfist are creating. But Zen actually helps us find picks with the Echo Mercy. So hopefully by the time they actually reach the core, the Zarya Zen, they lost a person. They lost two people because they're making that rotation. So how do they play around us if they do that? I think the main way I think they can is by trying to catch our dives. That I think is their best solution. If somehow Bubble doesn't go on to our Doomfist, or Doomfist messes up a combo to get out, or Echo gets a little too close to the sun, that I think is where they try to catch our dives, punish the ball for maybe staying in for too long. Maybe they wall off the ball as the ball tries to rotate away, and they get the freeze, they burst down the ball. That I think is how Brawl wins. So each team does have a win condition. We are just trying to... So this can work. And I think, next scrim, like we're talking about it now, we'll talk about it Saturday as well. Go more in depth after this. I'm not going to talk about it now. This video is almost 2 hours already. Been talking about it for a while. So I'm going to move on and let people get on with their day. But a big way to counter this, instead of the Brawl comp going Zarya, just go Diva instead. So we'll look at that maybe Saturday about how that changes, how this comp plays, why we make those changes. If they go Diva instead of Zarya to try and counter us. But yeah, if you have any questions, you know where to find me. And I will see everyone Saturday. Adios.